What is going on, everybody? So, I am back today to talk about a new release film from this year that came out from actor Jesse Eisenberg. This is his directorial debut, and I really like Jesse Eisenberg as an actor. I've always enjoyed his performances. I think obviously he fits a certain niche. But he seems to always execute really well in whatever performance that he gives. And so I was really interested to see what it would be like watching him behind the camera and seeing how he would bring ideas that he has to life. And this movie is actually produced by A24, and it's never a good sign when A24 throws something directly on a streaming service by barely marketing it. There are some exceptions, like last year, look at films like Causeway and Funny Pages, like movies that are really fantastic that just didn't get the marketing that they deserved. And so I was hoping that this would fall in that line. And the movie I'm going to be talking about today is When You Finish Saving the World. When You Finish Saving the World is directed by Jesse Eisenberg. Evelyn and her oblivious son Ziggy seek out replacements for each other. As Evelyn tries to parent an unassuming teenager at her shelter, Ziggy fumbles through his pursuit of a brilliant young woman at school. So the only way I can successfully classify this film is with one word, and that word is annoying. I really had high hopes for this movie, and it just came off as like incredibly pretentious and also not really well written. The performances weren't all that great. I think when you get someone like Julianne Moore in a movie, I expect to be really wowed, and I thought her performance was fine. Finn Wolfhard's performance was incredibly cringy and really kind of awful. I like Finn Wolfhard in Stranger Things, but I've never really seen him have to give like a dynamic, really powerful performance, and this was definitely not the way to start it. Did not do very well, which obviously isn't necessarily up to him. A lot of it has to do with the dialogue and the way that his character is written. But yeah, I saw a lot of people on Letterboxd saying that this felt like Jesse Eisenberg, like all of these characters were trying to be elements of Jesse Eisenberg, and I can see that. But what's interesting is the way Finn Wolfhard's character talks and the time period that he is in does not match up to when Jesse Eisenberg was growing up, and I feel like he might not necessarily 100% understand the youth culture of today as much as he tries to. A lot of it feels like, okay, you have a brief understanding of how kids today operate, but definitely not 100%. And so a lot of that comes off as cringe. So the movie is Julianne Moore and her husband have a young son, Ziggy, played by Finn Wolfhard. And Julianne Moore works at this shelter for women where they can come and live and kind of get their lives back on track, whether that be with their kids or by themselves. And so she does this work where she's trying to help these women make their lives better. But it's shown at the beginning of the film that her character isn't necessarily the most likable human being from the very first shot of the film. And so then you're introduced to Ziggy, Finn Wolfhard's character, who's trying to be like an internet personality. He plays these songs for people overseas. He's really terrible. Like, the songs are really poorly put together. They don't sound great. And obviously the parents, being these very kind of polished, tidied, refined people, don't understand why their son is doing this. And so there's conflict there. So most of the film is this relationship between a mother and a son that is broken because the two of them come from different worlds and they don't really understand each other. And as the plot description states, Finn Wolfhard's character becomes obsessed with this girl at his school who is really politically minded and very intelligent. He doesn't understand anything about that world, and he tries to, but comes off looking kind of stupid because he doesn't really do his research. And then Julianne Moore just wants a relationship with her son. Well, there's a woman who comes into the shelter that has a young son who's incredibly intelligent. He wants to do something with his life, and she immediately becomes attached to him because she has this sense of longing for a child that she has but isn't the way that she wants him to be. And so it's about all these different relationship dynamics, and on the surface it sounds really interesting if it was explored by someone else. And that's the thing, most of the scenes in this are incredibly forgettable. They don't really do much much to build up the relationship between these characters. There are a couple of really powerful moments in this movie that I did really appreciate, but aside from that, I found for a little under an hour and a half runtime, this movie was very boring. And as someone who really likes art house films, and like, I love the movie A Ghost Story, I can definitely get down with some slow-paced drama. It just felt like, rather than it be slow-paced for a reason, that it just really didn't know what it wanted to accomplish, and because of that, a lot of the scenes just felt really repetitive and irritating. There's also a lot of moments in this movie that feel very pretentious for the sake of being pretentious. Like I said, as someone who likes art house filmmaking, it just felt all wrong. I felt like this was Jesse Eisenberg's attempt at wanting to be Noah Baumbach, but he just doesn't have the chops for that. He doesn't have the capability for writing like that. His characters don't come across as like charming or even like annoying in a funny way. They're just annoying, and that was really upsetting. I had a lot of hope for this movie, and I ended up being very let down. So have you seen When You Finish Saving the World? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Leave me a comment down below and let me know what you thought. I thought this movie was not good. I don't plan on revisiting this one again in the future, and I feel like there's a lot more out there that's definitely more worth your time. As always, if you can like the video and subscribe to the channel, it helps me out a lot and lets me know the type of content you're looking for. I'm always putting out new material and look forward to getting more out for you in the near future. And as always, everyone, thank you so much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.